mother freaking time. Thank you for joining. Okay, so sometime ago, I wasn't even a nurse yet. I wasn't even in nursing school. I was a high school student. Ay, what a time. All right. So sometime ago, I was in high school, and the high school that I went to at the time, I don't know if they're still doing this, but at the time they had this program where you would leave the school for the first 2 to 3 periods of the day. And you would basically, I guess, be taught a separate curriculum that was tailored to your desired career path. And mine obviously was healthcare. They didn't break it down, doctor, PA or nurse practitioner or nurse, physical therapy. It wasn't specific. It was just under an umbrella. And once you got into the program, you would basically spend every quarter focusing on one project that was tailored towards the more specific career that you wanted to get into. Mine at the time was an OBGYN. I was for sure that I wanted to deliver babies. I mean, that's still something that I desire, but that to me seemed like it was gonna take too long. So anyways, before you actually complete the project, you have to pick one of the locations to do a mentorship at. So they had locations, and they also had available preceptors or mentors, at each location. So obviously the unit that I picked was maternal newborn, and it was an entire floor. Like, it took up the whole floor, which I think it usually does. And there would be a well baby nursery, a neonatal intensive care unit, NICU, which is the, I guess, sicker babies or not quite developed babies would go, and then labor and delivery, and then postpartum. Postpartum was my least favorite because I didn't really see a whole lot of action. I saw a little bit of drama at that time.
회원이 임박이거나.
야, 제이가 똥을 잘 싸.
그래, 축하해.
똥이 색깔도 예쁘고 모양도 예뻐.
But not a whole lot of action. I wanted to see babies being born. I wanted to see babies being revived. I wanted to see those birth defects. I know this sounds horrible, but when you're a student, these are the things you live for so that you can feel educated, oh, I know something about something out here. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, when I first started, I felt like, oh my God, I'm never gonna see a delivery. I'm never gonna see a baby come into this world. I'm never gonna see it. It just felt like the laboring, well, not felt, the case was, the laboring took a long time. It was common. And by the time it came to end my mentorship or end the day, I'm like, dang, she's probably gonna give birth and I'm gonna be at home. So what my mentor did was she broke it up. She gave me some days in postpartum, some days in the nursery, and some days in the NICU, depending on who was working, who wasn't super anal about having me in there. And there was a day that I was in the nursery, and my mentor came and got me and was like, Ashley, she's about to push the baby out. I need you to come with me right now. So I was like, yeah, hell yeah. So I followed her, and she put me in this, for lack of a better word, hazmat suit. And this was I was all dressed in my gown and all of my protective gear, mainly because just in case I touch something that is super vital, it's not going to be contaminated because I am now completely protected. So before I got in there, I washed my hands all the way up to my elbow, they, truly prepared me. And then she sat me in a corner and she said, don't touch anything, don't talk, just breathe. Okay, I can do that. I'm about to see this baby come out this lady's vagina.
I can see the baby.
Oh, the baby.
Let's go.
It's happening. So I stood in that corner and I'm like, yes. The OB comes in there and he's talking to her. He's saying all the things that you're supposed to say. He's starting the process, and it comes time for her to push. And I'm, immersed in the experience. And I'm like, yes, it's happening. And then I see out the corner of my eye, one of the nurses start to sway. And there are a series of healthcare professionals in this room. and the father. The nurse that I saw start to sway, I was like, oh God. Oh God. She's gonna pass out. This is not good. I'm like, should I say something? No, Ashley, don't say anything. Don't do it. Don't do it. And then she sways a little bit more. There's a little bit more sway in her sway. And I was like, oh, shiitake mushrooms. And the word that comes out my mouth to prepare the others was, and then she fell. Her face connected with the floor. And no one was happy about it. Especially the OB. He heard the noise, didn't even turn around and said, you have got to be kidding me. Pick her up. And so these nurses, other nurses, kind of flocked to this one nurse's attention. We'll call her Julie. Julie's on the floor. Julie's not completely out, but she might as well be. She ain't with it. And there's this like fat bead of sweat like on her forehead. She's already developing a nice pretty knot. And they're trying to attend to her while also attending to the needs of the OB as we try to bring this child into the world. And in the midst of all of this, because it gets better, the husband, fiance, boyfriend, whatever, father of the child, decides to peek down south where the baby's head was beginning to crown. And you want to know what my friend did? You probably already guessed it. We'll call him Steve.
Okay, so guess we're ready to start looking for clues. Great.
Steve gagged. Let me say it one more time. Steve gagged. You know when you're in a situation where you shouldn't be laughing, and because you shouldn't be laughing, the laughter seems that much more determined to come out? Well, that's what my friend was doing, Steve, except with the gag. He could not seem to get it under control. And so the girlfriend, the mother, is trying to focus and she sees him gagging, and now the OB is trying to get her to focus, and he's like, I need you to breathe, push. The other nurses, some nurses are attending to the one nurse that passed out over there in the corner, and the other nurses come to the bedside. And then there's this, obviously a nurse that's trying to hold the leg up. And they're all looking at him like, you are stupid. What have you done? And so the doctor's just like, focus. He's talking her through it. The nurse is talking her through it. They don't really look too good as a team, as they've now lost a member who I'm sure is a seasoned nurse, Julie, over there on the floor. And Steve cannot stop gagging. And so now the doctor, the OB, is giving him like darts with his eyes. I swear he's saying, I felt it in my soul, you better not. You better motherfucking not. You better not. And he did. He threw up on his wife / girlfriend / fiance / mother of the child. He did it. The vomit came out and it landed on her chest. And it was horrible. And so the doctor was like,
get him out. Get him out and clean her up.
He is at his wit's end with this delivery. This is my first delivery, okay? The nurse just passed out. Steve, okay, couldn't stop gagging, just threw up on his wife. She is in hysterics after the doctor, of course, said that he needed to leave. The mother is pissed off and wants him out as well. And so now he needs to leave because she's not even thinking about breathing and pushing anymore. It was a shiitake mushroom show. And so they realized that Julie's actually a little bit sick, like sicker than what they thought, okay? And they're not looking good as a unit, as a team anymore. They probably never truly did. And so the doctor turns around and looks at me in the corner. I stand like I'm in the corner and I'm supposed to look invisible. He asks me to hand him, I don't even know what. I was not familiar with the terminology. I don't know what he wanted from me, and I don't know why he wanted it from me. Nothing came out my mouth. I froze. I was not moving. And he immediately got annoyed with me, disregarded my presence, which he should have been doing in the first place. I don't know what you're talking about. I am not a healthcare professional at the time. And he redirected his attention to one of the nurses, obviously, who, you know, was a little distracted with the nurse that had just passed out. But whatever. Still, I am not a nurse at the time. So, the baby was crowning in the midst of the husband, boyfriend, fiance throwing up. And so now we have a baby into the world. Beautiful, beautiful baby boy. My mentor shows up just in the nick of time. She beckons me from the hallway as she gazes down at the nurse in the doorway who can't seem to get her life together. I ease on out, and I had quite the story to share. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is how witnessing my first birth went. Quite a shit show. Thank you for joining. Tune in next week.